we first launched satellites on Soviet rockets. We did not have a satellite launch vehicle. In July of 1979, our first SLV launch failed. Dr. Kalam was in tears. So Dr. Satish Dhawan said, I am your leader. I will take responsibility for the failure. You sit at the back. That is leadership. In August of 1980, the SLV-3 succeeded. Dr. Dhawan said to Kalam, Kalam, you take credit for this. I will sit at the back. This is leadership. Leadership is not taking credit when things are going good and run away when the things are going bad. Leadership is when you have the courage to take the responsibility for things that are going wrong as much as you take credit when things are going right. So this is the milestones of a successful journey, sir. There have been many scientists, and I want to recall. I have mentioned Homi Bhabha, I have mentioned Vikram Sarabhai, I have mentioned Abdul Kalam. There's a great scientist of India who is forgotten today. He is the only scientist who has worked and contributed for a nuclear program as well as for our space program. And if you go to the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center in Thiruvananthapuram, you will see a statue of him in the space organization headquarters. His name is Brahma Prakash. He's probably one of the greatest metallurgists that India has produced. And he made a huge difference to our space program and to our atomic energy program. We have had a succession of chairmen. We had Satish Dhawan, U.R. Rao, Madhavan Nair, Kasturi Rangan, Radhakrishnan, Shivan, and now of course we have Somnath. Each of them have made contributions because the political leadership has given them the freedom to make those contributions. Sir, I also want to say that India's space program has always had a developmental orientation. It has always been space for development, space for communication, space for rural development, space for weather forecasting, space for identifying sources of water. Indian scientists and technologists have never seen India's space program as a symbol of Indian nationalism. It has always been seen in a developmental perspective. It has always been seen as an instrument of fulfilling developmental aspirations. And that's why we had INSAT, the Indian National Communication Satellite. And it is because of INSAT that we improved our weather forecasting. We located sources of water. We created new maps. We created platforms like Bhuvan. So while it is natural for all of us to take pride, I would like to urge all of us to please look at our space program fundamentally as an instrument of development and not as an instrument of muscular nationalism. This has been the hallmark of India's space program for the last 60 years. And let it be in that spirit with which it was founded by our scientists and technologists. So, I am entirely in agreement with the Prime Minister when he said yesterday that the Chandrayaan-3 achievement creates a new excitement for science. But sir, what is the point creating an excitement of science when you're removing Darwin's theory of evolution from textbooks? What is the importance of creating excitement of science when you reject Newton, you reject Einstein, you think all knowledge was available to India 2000 years ago? Sir, that is not a scientific temper. Scientific temper is the spirit of inquiry, is a spirit of questioning. We have had glorious tradition. We have had glorious tradition in mathematics. We have had a glorious tradition in metallurgy. We have a glorious tradition in astronomy. But, sir, let us take pride in our past, but let us not think that all of modern science, all of modern technology was known to us 2,000 years ago. We have to move with the times. That is the scientific temper. That is the scientific spirit. If you reject science, if you do not give your scientific institutions freedom, if you do not allow scientific endeavor to flourish in a spirit of professionalism, you can have all the Chandrayans of the world, but it is not going to make a difference to the minds of the young. So we have to create a scientific spirit, the spirit of questioning, the spirit of inquiry, the spirit of doubt. That is the spirit of science, which I hope will be created by this excitement. So, along with Chandrayaan-3, let us not forget Chandrayaan-1. Chandrayaan-1 was launched in 2008. And I have no hesitation in saying that the first announcement of Chandrayaan was by Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee on the 15th of August in 2003. After 2003, you had Chandrayaan-1 in 2008, you had Chandrayaan-2 in 2019, and you have Chandrayaan-3 in 2023. What does it mean? It means there is continuity in governance. If a Prime Minister refuses to acknowledge continuity in governance, if a Prime Minister believes that the world has started only when I became Prime Minister, if a Prime Minister believes that Indian science has become great, that the Indian space program has become great only when I became Prime Minister, sir, I beg to differ. Let us take, along with Chandrayaan-1, Aditya L1, which was also a great success. We have not mentioned it in your resolution. But this Aditya L1, the solar laboratory, which was launched 1 week after Chandrayaan-3. So when did Aditya-1 start? Aditya-1 started in the year 2006. It took 17 years for Aditya-L1. Sir, sir, can I finish? Sir, it took 17 years for Aditya L1 to be conceived, to be planned, to be executed, and to be launched. The Honorable Leader of the House said, we are now making things in India. So we have always been making things in India. Larsen and Toubro, Walchandnagar Industries. There are so many Indian companies I can think of which have been associated with the Indian space program going back to the 70s. To say that suddenly after 2014 we have started making things for our space program is a complete distortion of facts. In fact, the Indian space program has always been based on creative partnerships with the Indian private sector and Indian public sector. Our nuclear reactors are made in India. Our rockets are made in India. Our launchers are made in India. Our satellites are made in India. And they were being made in India before 2014. Sir, I don't know what your intention is, whether you want to pass a resolution at the end of the discussion. But if you do want to pass, sir, let me finish, sir. If you do want to pass, please acknowledge that the capabilities, competencies, and capacities that have resulted in Chandrayaan-3's success are the results of investments made over the last 60 years. These are based on contributions of successive prime ministers. These are based on contributions of a large number of Indian scientists, large number of Indian technologists, many of whom we don't even know of, many of whom we don't even acknowledge. But I think today is the day when we should salute our Indian scientific community, our Indian technological community. So, it is the Indian scientists and Indian technologists who gave India the Green Revolution in the 1970s. It is Indian scientists and Indian technologists who gave India the White Revolution in the 1970s. It is Indian scientists and Indian technologists which have created our missile development program, the Agnis and the Prithvis and the Nags. And it is Indian scientists and Indian technologists who have given our space program the profile in the world that it has today. And I want to say one thing about these scientists and engineers, sir. So all the newspaper headlines, all our talk is based on our elite institutions of learning. I happen to come from one of them. But I have no hesitation in saying that the contributions in the space program have come from men and women who are graduates of government engineering colleges, of lesser known engineering colleges. They are not from IITs, they're not from IIMs, but they are from colleges in Kollam, colleges in Trivandrum, colleges in Surat, colleges in Baroda, colleges in Pune, colleges in Bhopal,
in Rajasthan,
colleges in Indore, colleges in Jaipur. This is what colleges in Chennai. Sir, this is the strength of Indian science. The strength of Indian science doesn't come from 5 institutes or 10 institutes or 15 institutes. The strength of Indian science comes from a very large population of engineering institutions, which we have to nurture, which we have to upgrade, which we have to recognize, and which we must give full freedom for them to operate. So, sir, I associate myself with the sentiments of the Leader of the House, who has not heard whatever I have said because he's been busy in conversation with the person next to him throughout. He has been busy in conversation throughout.
No. Take a
Sir.
Jairam, now you have made a reflection. Let him react. He has. And before that, Jairam was on right track. Jairam, you were on right track. But when I took the seat, you got little political.
What is this?
From science, you traveled to politics.
Sir, I had caught up in between also. Unfortunately, Jairam thought, Honorable Chairman, sir.
You are politicalized. सर हमारा पुराना रिश्ता है सर, हमारा पुराना रिश्ता है और ये बड़े इन्होंने कुछ साल पहले आइंस्टाइन और न्यूटन को कंफ्यूज भी कर दिया था।
पुराना
उसको
रिश्ता
याद नहीं दिलाऊंगा उनको।
पुराना रिश्ता
पर आज उनसे भाषण सुनना पड़ा, प्रवचन सुनना पड़ा।
पुराना
हमारे
रिश्ता
स्पेस प्रोग्राम का क्या उपलब्धियां हैं।
पुराना रिश्ता और पुराना घाव मीठा दर्द देता है।
Sir, I associate myself with the Leader of the House. We acknowledge, we salute, we applaud ISRO, the past members of ISRO family, the present members of ISRO family. We congratulate our Indian scientists. We congratulate our Indian technologists. I am sure that many more achievements are there in the years to come. But sir, I will only end by pleading that we need to